Hi, and welcome to Nkarma's Festival. So, this is the poetry evening. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I can see everyone joining. Hello! Hi, Mom! Um, so, tonight we have some really, really lovely guests, um, and they're all bringing really special things as well. So, it's going to be an evening of warmth, coziness, self love, and all wonderful things. I've got my wine here ready. So get some wine, get in your cozy pajamas, and get ready to have a lovely evening. Um, when I was first presented with this opportunity, and thank you so much, Nkarma, this festival was amazing. Um, I was thinking more about energies and how I wanted to feel when the show was over, and how I wanted my lovely guests to feel, and how I want my audience to feel. So, the inspiration for this evening is a little quote, and it's by Charlie Mackesy. It's from his lovely book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Sometimes I feel lost, said the boy. Me too, said the mole. But we love you, and love brings us home. So, on the topic of finding our homes and loving ourselves, we've got our first guest, and we're going to start this evening. So, to start us, we have Maisie May. Maisie is a spiritual life coach who specializes in sound, vibration, and energy work. Hi, Maisie.
Hello.
Hello. So, this evening, you have a meditation and a sound bath for us.
Yes, I do. I have my little crystal guardians here with me, and I'm going to share an offering of crystal sound frequencies to bring us home. And that is exactly what these little crystal guardians do. They bring us home into our wholeness, our peace, our oneness, and resonance with our truth and our happiness.
That's so
Yeah.
lovely. I've been looking forward to this all day, so I just want to get straight into it if you do.
Yes,
Okay,
amazing.
let's do it.
Brilliant. So I'll just share a little bit about the bowls I'm using today. I'm really focusing on the energies of bringing joy, restoration, and peace and relaxation into the space to set the tone for the evening. So the first bowl I'm using is the Divine Feminine bowl, which is a mix of clear crystal quartz and platinum, and she brings the essence of joy, creativity, and surrender. And then the other bowl I'm using is the grandmother bowl, and she is a blend of clear crystal quartz and iron. So she brings with her this really grounding, nurturing, and wise energy, so that we are in beautiful, safe hands with these two bowls. So today is all about creativity and expression, self-expression. So as we listen to the bowls, I really want you to give yourself full permission to journey within into the inner landscapes of you with curiosity and exploration, because your inner spaces are so unique to you, and that in itself is truly beautiful. So just find a comfortable position, either lying down or sitting up, leaning against something, just somewhere where you can completely let go for the next couple of moments. And what I'm going to do is just tilt the camera slightly so that you can see the bowls. Amazing. And wherever you decided to rest for this moment, just begin to slow down your breath, taking a long inhale in through the nose and a long exhale out from the mouth, and letting go of any tension, anxiety, stress from the day. And when you inhale, bring in that fresh, rejuvenating, and cleansing energy, bringing it home into your inner spaces. And when you exhale, let go of anything that's causing you discomfort in this very moment. It is not needed in this space. It does not serve you in this space. So just let it go. And as you inhale, bring in love, home, and nourishment. And as you exhale, just let go. Empty it out, send it out to Mama Earth. She will take this from you. There is no need for you to be holding on to this in this moment. And on your next inhale, bring your awareness inside the body, fully focusing now on the inner spaces within you, away from the outside world and all that's going on, causing stress. And as you exhale, let go, surrender, sink down into the grounding of the earth beneath you. And as I play the bowls, in just a moment, the only thing that you need to do in this moment is receive. And your body, your cells, your atoms, they all know how to do that. So just give yourself permission to receive this token of love. And as your body, your cells, your energy centers see the sound frequencies and vibrations, slowly bring your awareness back to your breath. Inhaling through the nose and feeling the cold breeze move past the nostrils and bringing with it that cleansing, rejuvenating energy of love. And as you exhale out the mouth, exhale with the intention of sending love out to everyone in this space, everyone in the collective, and breathing in love from the universe around you, in which there is an abundance of love going around, and you have access to love just through your breath, filling your body up with that love. And as you exhale, you send out that love to the collective, and with it comes strength for everyone who needs a little extra strength and love today and tomorrow. And every day. For every moment we breathe, every breath we take, we are reminded of our unity and our oneness. So make that choice to breathe with the intention of love. Love is your home. and love is your birthright. Thank you for sharing this meditation with me and receiving the crystal sonic frequencies. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the beautiful magic that is to come in this lovely evening of love and home.
Thank you so much, Maisie. That was so lovely. I feel like I need a moment. I feel like I'm sure it's called a sound bath for a reason, but I feel like I've just had like an actual bath. I feel really, really nice. Thank you for that. That was so lovely. I guess that moves us quite nicely into our next video. This is a poem I wrote back in November, when I had feelings of missing out on things, running out of time, and no doubt that's a byproduct of this lockdown and all of that. And it's quite hard, and I was lucky enough to see a friend, and we put this video together, and I hope you like it. This is called Time. I have a problem with tracking time in my mind. Sometimes I'm falling way behind. Looking back too much, then forward too much. Living in the future, I'm stuck. I can't find my place. I'm present, I'm in it, but never truly living it. Moments go so fast, I look back and they're gone. That's why I hold on to them for so long. But it's like sand in my hands. As I grow older, I try to understand why all the time in the world will never be enough. And whilst I get caught up in my bluff, just like this, moments have passed and time I've missed, they ask me where I've been. I say I've been chasing time. Sorry, I spaced out, yeah, I'm fine. I hear them say, where does she go when she stares like that? She's arguing again, an internal spat. See, time and I have a relationship that is unique, almost like a race, running from peak to peak. But I am a human, and racing does not serve me. My distance is limited because eventually, time will outrun thee. If only I could tear the fabric of time, find a loophole, live and rewind, exist forever and never run out of time. Okay, I think it's time that we woke up a little bit and we brought some energy in. So, next, I'm so happy to have my favourite sisters, the Unclassical podcast. Katie and Marsha are Bevan sisters, who run a comedy podcast where you hear their hilarious interpretations of classic novels. Hi.
Hi.
Katie's taking the lead on this one, actually, so I don't know what to expect either. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Maisie, for that lovely time. That was really relaxing. I felt like we all needed that.
Yeah, I feel bad like we're going to disrupt it now, all the nice Zen mood that's been put out there.
We're going to have to be nice, which is difficult. We're not.
It doesn't come naturally.
So I thought today it'd be interesting to look at some classical poets who are female, because a lot of the time, especially throughout history, women kind of get forgotten and lost on the wayside.
Funny that.
I know. It's almost like it's all about men, which is rude. So the first poet I've decided to look at was Sappho, who was an ancient Greek poet. She was alive around 630 to 530 BC, so an older one.
An older lady.
And while I was researching her, like, I just found like things frustrating about like the way things are written about her, because she in her time she was known as one of the greatest lyricists around.
Yeah.
So she was clearly good and respected, but like all the things are sort of like, oh, she just wasn't like as epic as like this other male author, and you're just like, different style.
I've just been reading about Aristotle, and he actually believed women were incomplete men, and that, what was it, men bought the form and women bought the substance when making children. So quite literally, a woman was like a plant pot, and a man would put his seed in it, and children would have the exact same characteristics as the father. Wow. And the book I was reading about was like, he didn't actually have any involvement with women, so he didn't exactly have a right to make these generalizations. But that would have been the kind of, when did you say Sappho was alive? Which years?
630 to 570, roughly.
Aristotle is cheeky because he was born in like 360 BC or something, so he should have learned from his elders. Got some respect.
Yes, that is how it works, because it goes the opposite way. BC, doesn't it? I was like,
yeah. I thought you were correcting me. I was like, I'm totally right.
There you are. I was just having a minute because it confused me.
But yeah, so she wasn't that respected. She was in her time.
Yeah, she was. Well, she was, because she was completely independent, like self-made woman. Like, she didn't rely on anyone else because her poetry sold and everything. Yeah. But this kind of goes on to my next point. Like, so most of her work has now been lost to time. Like, there's bits and bobs that have been found, but a lot of the time, like there's heaps of like, I mean, I know Shakespeare's a lot more recent, but it's just an example, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that reminds me of something else. So this is what I do. Katie tells like interesting things, and I just divert into random things I've been looking at. But I saw this on TikTok. The original gynecologist, like female doctor, she was called Tortula, I think. Oh, that sounds a bad name, Tortula. But yeah, I think she was called Tortula. And more modern historians found the books that she wrote about female health. And they just said, well, a woman wouldn't be able to write this. So they took the names of male doctors that were prolific around her time and just put their names on her books. And it was only when other historians came around and they were like, no, she was a female doctor that, like, took an interest in women. Shock horror. Yeah. This is her work. Back off.
Literally, like, it's so rude. But this is the thing, like, when trying to research like stuff about Sappho, like, it's the main thing that comes up about her, like whenever you Google her, bearing in mind she's famous, she should be famous, her work was as a poet, and it's all about her sexuality, everything you read, like,
right.
And because she was a successful woman in her time, self-made, that the Athenian theatres at the time made a caricature of her as a very promiscuous heterosexual woman, so like kind of degrading her, because that was obviously frowned upon.
Yeah.
So that's really frustrating that there's a lot of stuff about that, but then there's also a lot of stuff about her being a lesbian, and it's not portrayed in a positive light, which is obviously just really backward and frustrating.
Yeah. Especially for the time as well, when lots of sources says that like male homosexual relationships weren't that frowned upon. So for them to suddenly take her relationship like, oh, it's such a bad thing.
But it's weird the way it's written, like in like the research I was doing, because it's all like, oh, like trying to justify her reasons, and it's like, no justification. If she was a lesbian, that's just
she liked the fanny. She liked the fanny. We don't need to tell further than that.
Literally, so it's just like, it's frustrating. And also, like, I came here for the poetry.
Yeah, like, she reminds me of another person I came across. Her name was Mary Wollstonecraft, and they were like, she's the most prolific feminist you probably never heard of. And the reason was she was quite prolific in like the 1700s, and she wrote lots of campaign material for women's rights. But when she died, her partner basically thought she was like the greatest person in the world, so he wrote a memoir of her, and he was like, I just want to show everyone how great she was. But in the memoir he wrote that she had close relationships with women, and that she had like an illegitimate child. And so for like the next 100 years it just kind of wrote off all her work. I was like, you had one job to show everyone how great she was, and you completely messed it up.
But it's like, it's so true with everything. Like, it's still so true today. Like, how many times do you see like an interview on like, I don't know, a popular show. What is it, like Jonathan Ross or something? And it'll have like a woman and a male from the same film, and he'll be asking the guy like, "Oh, so how did you prepare for your role? Like, what kind of like tactics did you employ?" And he'll be like, "Did you go on a diet before you did? Who are you dating?"
Yeah, or if they have a family, like, how do you balance filming and family life?
Literally, and it's just sort of like, you're going to ask him that? Like,
yeah.
There's one with Scarlett Johansson and and what's his name, the one who plays Captain America, and they're talking to him about like stuff, like important stuff, and they ask her like, could you even wear underwear because your costume's like really tight? And it's like, I'm sorry, what?
like what relevance does you have a costume department? You don't need to concern yourself with that.
Literally, so rude. And that's the thing, like, it's just so throughout history, it's sort of like putting women down, putting them in this little box of like appearance. Like appearance is so considered like overly important for women, and like in that respect, like their role in the family is so rooted, like their relationships to men and like their romantic relationship.
I think I was reading about this in relation to Chaucer actually, and they were saying there's only traditionally two kinds of women in literature, and it's saints and like heretics, like whore women, the devil women, and so you have to kind of neatly fall into one of these. And what's her name? I was listening to something with Jamila Jamil as well, and she was saying a similar thing. Like if you make like one mistake as a woman, you're not really allowed to like learn from it and come back and say, I was a little problematic. Hands up, because you either have to get it right or you're just vilified for the rest of your time in the public eye.
Literally, like. But like I mean I did quite a lot of research into this about how there's like the different there's the three different types of women: the mother, the lover, and the crone. And like that thing is sort of like, if you're like over, like, I don't know, it's probably even younger than I'm thinking, probably more like if you're over like 32, it's like you're not important because you're not a symbol of love or maternity anymore, because in the media they always have like people playing mothers are like 18 and you're like but I'll be like, their kids will be like 15 and you're like, eh?
Yeah, 32-year-old mothers with 18-year-old children. You're like,
but it's like, and it's like, so there's like this idea in like society that women are only important when they can be loved by a man or when they're a mother. And it's like there's so much in that. And that comes across like a lot in the research of like older like female poets, because like all of them, like not just Sappho, the one I'm going on to in a moment, is the same. It's sort of like a lot of the stuff that's saved about her is about her work with like love poetry, but that's it. We'll go into that. That's another thing within Sappho though. Like what her poems we do know about her, they've always been sort of like framed as sort of like, oh, she wrote about love. She wrote lots of stuff about love, which is cool. But that's apparently all she wrote about. And then you dig a little deeper and it's like, no, she wrote about a lot more interesting other topics as well, but that's what she's gone down history for, and her sexuality. And it's sad because like, she was an awesome lady and she was known as one of like the greatest lyricists of her time. And just be put like, but what was her sexuality? She wrote love poems. It's a bit like she was more.
Yeah, and it sounds like she's predating like a lot of like the philosophers that are famous for telling stories as well. And they're the ones like Socrates and Aristotle, the ones that you hear about. And you're like, well, there's got this awesome woman before then. Give her the stage.
Literally. So we're going to jump forward a few hundred years now to like medieval times and look at Mary de France. That's not her actual name. Her actual name has been lost to history. This is taken from a poem of hers where she says, my name is Marie and I am from France. So they were like, we'll go with that.
What shall we call her? I remember she said Marie. Yes, and she was French. Mary of France. That's what we shall call her. You tried real hard with that one.
They really did. They're very inventive. She was a classic medieval writer. And I feel as well, like, I don't know if it might just be me and the fact I'm not the most clued up on history, but I do feel like there's this kind of idea that women just weren't ever in the spotlight. Women just weren't ever allowed to be on stage before, like, I don't know, the kind of flapper girl of the 1920s so much. But she was like very popular in her time as well. This is like medieval England. Like she performed to the court of King Henry II, right? So
Mary
established and in her time. So this idea that like women weren't allowed on the stage and stuff like this, like it's just a bit like, well, it's wrong. It was clearly introduced some point later, or like it's just been lost in history because they were there.
That's interesting because, again, going back to Aristotle, you can tell what I'm reading at the moment. He ties in with someone in the Middle Ages, a philosopher there, Aquinas. And so Aristotle's thing about women, just like being flower pots, essentially. Aquinas was very religious, and he was like, this makes exact sense because Eve was made from Adam's rib. Yes, I'll perpetuate this. And that's kind of where the framework of like modern day patriarchy comes from. So you kind of like, they were still kind of maybe like on the high back then of still being able to do things, and then people like, shush, there's evidence that you're silly little women and this benefits us, so shush, that's enough of that. Yeah, and again, when you look back at history, like, well, they can't be on the stage because they're not on the stage now. Why would they be on the stage back then? Silly.
Literally. And just going into history again, like, when people are like, oh, you can't have a female president, we've never had one before. It's like, we've also never had a war started by a woman, but we won't focus on that.
Also, like, female presidents, I mean, do you remember like Boudicca and stuff? I mean, she was ruling shit. What's this all like things like, women never have been empowered? Joan of Arc? Hello, open a fucking history book.
Literally, and like there's so many like lost to history, like tribes and whatnot, and like cultures that had powerful, good female leaders, like
against Spartan women.
Yeah, like, and that's the other thing, like Spartan women is like, it's, but I don't know about anyone else, but when I learned about the ancient Greeks, I was always taught like the Athenians, they're nice, they're calm, they're intelligent, but their women have no rights.
Yeah.
But Spartans are like, they were brilliant, but at least their women had some more rights, but they're always thought as like the baddies,
the barbaric ones.
Yeah, and it's like, I think they got some things right, not everything, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's still very problematic, but the women had more things going on.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to Marie. I just thought she was so cool because her work, she predominantly wrote about heroic stories and like love stories, but she subverted a lot of them. So like she'd like swap the gender roles around. Like, so you think like the classic story of the prince saves the princess, she'd subvert that to be the girl save the boy and things like that. Which again, like, people think like all this stuff is like really modern. It's like, it's not. It's always been there. It's just never been in the public eye. It's always been shushed away and like knocked aside, and that's why people are like, oh, this is new, and it's like, it's really, really not.
Oh, this is the thing. I remember because you mentioned Marie de France to me the other day, and you said she predates Chaucer. So obviously she was someone who was working in medieval times, writing, shaping a narrative, and Chaucer's kind of considered to be like the founder of like medieval language and the voice of medieval times. But even when he was around, he was being criticized for how he represented relationships and women. It's like, trigger warning, I'm going to mention sexual assault, but he wrote a poem, I think it was called The Reed's Tale, and there's a mother and a daughter in it, and these two clerks want to take revenge on the mother's husband, the child's father, and so they come and rape both of them because, that makes complete sense. And at the end of the poem, the father, he's really upset and bereft and humiliated, and the two women have just gotten over it, and they're like, fine, but oh my god, my poor husband, he's so humiliated right now. And even at the time there were people criticizing it, saying that's really like harmful and that's not a thing, so why would you portray it that way? There was, I've got her name written down somewhere, Christine de Pizan. She criticized it, and she was held up as being a emotional woman who didn't understand satire, so shush. It's like ridiculous. And Marie de France predates Chaucer, so you're like, again, why are you going backwards?
Literally. And like most of her poetry like kind of was against what the kind of the church was saying at the time. So like, women are virtuous, women should be virgins until marriage, and then women are their husbands and they belong to them, they stay with them and they love them. And her poetry she wrote a lot about women who of stature who would then be seducing other men, women who left their husbands because they were in loveless marriages and would go and seek other relationships like to fulfill themselves and be happy. So she was writing about women and their sexual freedom. And I feel like there's this idea that, like, well, not obviously we know now that women have sexual feelings and stuff like that, but like
what?
like technically, I don't know what year it was, but technically being a lesbian wasn't considered illegal. Being gay was.
Yes.
That really concerned men, because they didn't believe that women had the capacity for sexual feelings. So it's like, well, that would just never happen. And
No,
like,
if you get two women living together, they're just friends, I'm sure. They just discuss knitting.
They share a bed, but I mean, they're just friends.
Yeah, saves on the heating.
So there was this idea that for some reason, this idea that women had like no freedom of sexual expression or self-love or any of that was just like considered not a thing. But then we think of this as like a relatively modern outcoming. But then you read in it's like the 12th century, and she's saying like, we got it, and it's just like nothing. I mean, obviously it's always been there, but like people have been writing it, publishing it, putting it out there, and it's just been like,
yeah,
nope.
Get that narrative out, shush it away.
Literally. And like she wrote about like how problematic like the concept of virginity can be, and like all a woman's power is held in her being a virgin, and how like problematic that is, and the idea that a dick can change your entire personality and life. Like, I had a break to you, sweetie, it down.
Not a magic dick, no.
Literally. But it's like it's so interesting seeing all this stuff like and being like, oh yeah, like I mean, of course all this stuff has been happening for literally centuries. But then like I'm sure like we've probably all had that moment when someone is just sort of like, well, if you don't like the way that things are sexist, why don't you just change it? And it's like, oh, okay, I'll just go and change like thousands of years of like ingrained sexism. I'll just go do that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that women have been doing that for thousands of years.
Exactly, honey. We are changing it. Change is taking a fucking while, and we're trying to push it. Like, so many people are trying to push their agenda.
Yeah, trying.
Like this is me changing it. That's why you feel uncomfortable.
Exactly. Sort of like we need to like push into that uncomfortable side, and people need to understand why they're uncomfortable, question it, and we can move on. Like you're not going to get change if you don't have uncomfortableness. But
yeah,
these were the two women that I looked at, but there are so many more, and there are just like so many like amazing female poets. I think I'll make a post with all the names because I won't remember them, and it would be confusing if I just say them out. But like I want to make a post of just sort of like, because I looked at not just older poets as well, but like more modern ones, and there are just so many like amazing women out there doing awesome work. And like especially with the older ones, there's a lot of them that have like their work has like influenced today's poetry a lot. So Marie de France, she's influenced a lot of love poetry, a lot of heroic literature and things like that. The same with Sappho, she influenced a lot of love poetry as well. So they've been working there, and they have not been getting their gratitude.
It is long overdue.
Definitely. I think that ends our look into historical women in the poetry universe. Thank you very much for having us. For seeing what else people are up to.
Thank you so much. The thing that's like it like blows my brain is that like Unclassical can have the most serious conversations but make them so funny. And I'm like sitting here like laughing so much, and I'm like, wait, no, this is really serious. Thank you guys, that was so nice. That was a really, really good conversation. Thank you guys. So I can't believe how fast this evening is going, first of all. Next, we have a lovely guest called Sade. She's a writer, theatre maker, spoken word artist, and practitioner. And through her art, she is a massive advocate of self-love. Raising awareness for alopecia is just one way of all the ways she's so special. So here she is. Hello.
Hi. Hello, Chelsea. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to read you a little poem that I wrote during lockdown, and it's called Gratefulness and Grief.
Thank you.
Today I am grateful for you. You as in us. Us working together in harmony with one another. I am grateful for seemingly rising from my base of home, feeling and fixing, sometimes risking but restoring those pieces back together, covered in worries from last week's internal battle, one after the other. You can do this. You can get through this. Anything that you put your imagination to is full of worldly possibilities. Create your possibilities and have the ability to stand within your vulnerability. Because believe me when I say, stand beside me, know that I'm right here with you. When I fluff those pillows, I imagine they are soft, delicate packages that belong to my heart. Nurture is what it needs. Nurture is its strength and sustainability. Unwrapping gifts feels like shedding all the paper, shedding all the mistrust and disbelief. It's like being okay with all the uncertainty. It's like standing in a small boxed room and seeing all the beauty in it. Every crack, every slight dent, every imperfection feels like a reborn of fertility. Gratefulness is like hugging yourself so tight that it almost becomes borderline suffocation. It's solid appreciation, heavy but with a twist. Because when you're companionless, then you can't speak, and the thoughts won't let you fully be alone. It's that suffocation that pulls you out. It's the notion of the words being written down on a piece of paper. It's the hope that the mind will quiet itself or calm itself down. It's wishing and praying and thanking your pain, hugging yourself so tight until nothing but tears remain, rising amongst the challenges that you face, whispers of untold lies that your brain likes to create. It's settling down and sometimes admitting defeat, scrunching up your palms so tight and allowing yourself to be angry, to be lonely, to be the only, to be met with grief. Didn't you know that it was inevitable, inescapable, unavoidable? But you are indestructible, only to be made stronger by the hurt you face. And you're gonna be okay. And you're gonna brave this phase. And you're gonna understand why your journey began. It's caused this day. To be lonely, to be the only, to be met with gratefulness and grief.
Thank you so much, Sade. That was so beautiful. I don't know what to say. It was so nice. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sorry, things like that sometimes just get to me, that it's like so honest and so lovely. So thank you. Next we have another lovely poet. She's called Kashmira. She's a poet, spoken word artist, and writer. I'm a little bit biased of Kashmira's poetry because she's so calm and so peaceful, and I love her so much. Kashmira, and am I right in thinking you're gonna say some new poems tonight?
Hi. Hello. Yes, I am. Yes, I've got some unshared material that I've been holding on to, and yeah, the energy for tonight, I feel like it's taken me through like motions of different emotions, and I've really enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm going to share a little bit of calming energy with you guys.
Thank you. It's all yours.
Thank you. So the poems that I'm sharing are explorations of different types of love. So firstly, for this first poem, I invite all of you, if you feel comfortable, to close your eyes, because I wrote this poem as a prayer, and it's called Devotion. So without further ado. For the presence of the universe lies within me. I encompass all elements. I am the earth, sun, and especially the sea. I am nourished every day beyond what can be seen. My mind can often set itself free, but sometimes I am caged because I allow myself to be. These walls are slowly crumbling. The gate is slowly opening. And all I crave is to continue learning how to love, become whole, tuning in to the highest self, the divine soul. The love penetrates through to the core, It's the kind offered nowhere else. It can't be bought or sold. This love continues to teach me to put my higher self first, surrender, implement devotion, and grow whole. Because only I can set myself free from the cages I consciously choose to confine me. So, every day and every night, I yield to the light, the different kinds that offer me solace and especially peace of mind. Feeling the love that can set me free, the home that exists within me. You can open your eyes now if you have them closed. This second poem is, I suppose, an exploration of vulnerability within romantic relationships, but also how we confront ourselves and I suppose our relationship with ourselves within these romantic relationships, or platonic relationships, or familial relationships. This one is called Tenderness. I am not as fragile as I seem. There's more to me than what meets the eye. Can you not feel the universe that exists within me? I am not broken. I am wholesome. My shoulders are mountains that can withstand the weight of elephants in the thousands. You cannot tame a wild woman, the keeper and protector of life's ultimate game. She doesn't need to take from you in order to gain. Are you willing to let go of the misconception that she requires your protection? Are you a partner or a dictator? A lover or an oppressor? Which side will you choose to embody? Are you going to pretend that a woman is ungodly? Will you conform to the conditioning of what you should be? Or are you willing to break the cyclical psychology imposed on you because of your biology? I need to know. Does admitting you want to love me make you feel weaker? Does expressing your feelings somehow make you value your worth as cheaper? Or does suppression actually mean that you refuse to allow yourself to understand something deeper? Is this suppression an inability to understand something deeper? What do you truly see when you look at me? A reflection of insecurities or the possibility of certainty? Certainty to love, certainty to let go, certainty to hold space, certainty to grow, certainty to breathe, certainty to be, existing beyond the possibilities of limited modalities. There is a universe of softness that exists within your soul. Just allow yourself to finally relinquish control. Let be. Feel free. Don't trap and enslave your mind. Embrace duality. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kashmira. That was so beautiful. Whenever I listen to her words, it's almost like in my head it's like liquid gold. It just runs through my ears. It's so lovely. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much. Well, I don't know how I'm gonna follow all of this beautiful poetry. I was gonna do a little performance. This one I wrote a little while ago. I don't know if I can describe what I was feeling at the time. So I'm just gonna go for it. It's called Floating. I'm just trying to stay afloat, like a boat, the size of Titanic, but when you see it, laying on the vast ocean surface, still, with no life in it, suddenly so small, my boat trying to stay afloat. A dot in the deep blue, that's how I feel without you. I'm just trying to stay afloat. I've got nothing on board, really, just me and my feelings that I hoard, though sometimes those can get heavy too, and like you, they pull me down. Water creeps in through the cracks of my skin, my boat. Rotten wood. It smells good, like a dampness in my cemented thoughts. It's nice, actually, to know even those can get soggy. Perhaps they will decompose to make new beautiful thoughts, ones with wings to fly me away from my boat, my anchor. Will the ocean's blue hold me the way you do, if my boat doesn't stay afloat? Will the sea's waves hold me for days like you used to? It smells like you. Salty. If I capsize, will you hold me tight and pull me in with your tide? Besides, I haven't felt your hug in a while. Maybe I'll get swallowed by a whale and my boat will finally be free to set sail. I'm just trying to stay afloat. The water's up to my ankles now. I think we have a leak. Masked up emotions, but masking tape won't fix the escape. It's in the foundations, my boat. It's funny how a drop seems like not a lot. Drip, drop, non-stop can soon turn into a tsunami if you're not watching the clock. It's up to my neck, but I'm not finished yet. My boat isn't the size of Titanic, I know I lied, but can't I dream of having a presence so wide that it fills the sky as my boat? I scratched into the side my love for you. Scars to show just how true I battled, but the blue replaced you, my boat. But I'm still afloat. I guess I don't need you. And suddenly, now that my boat has sunk to the bottom of the ocean, I'm lighter. And I can sway with the motion, and pretty soon I will wash upon shore. And when I do, I will never rely on you to stay afloat once more. Thank you. Oh, I can see some really lovely comments. Thank you. I can't believe it's the last act. It's gone so fast. So our last guest of the evening is Layla. Layla is a photographer and a creative who helps people grow to their best selves as she navigates her own life in a way. So hi Layla.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm good. That was beautiful. And actually, it's weirdly linked. Everything, I love a good coincidence, and everything seems to like nicely have flown.
It's the best coincidence.
And we haven't even planned it.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote a little something quite long. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It's just didn't know what to talk about, but I just let my mind kind of ramble, and it's quite raw, so I hope you guys enjoy it. Welcome home, sweet sugar-like flavor in my mouth. It has been a while since I allowed to swallow you whole, spreading through my cells that have felt so dull for too long. Vibrations making the corners of my mouth curve up with a raw vulnerability. Still quivering, for the weight of the past is pulling them down. Unbothered and neutral. Do not allow the laughter to echo out of your chest, loud and abrasive. Do not let the joy fall out of your eyes as they crease the corners into folded sheets of happiness. How could I let the world in when all it has done is take from me? How could I stand in happiness when so many are in pain? I was afraid of being seen, of people hearing my passion, my excited mind, being too much for them to bear. So I chose neutral, beige, vanilla flavor that left people's mouths quickly with little to remember. Not bad nor good, just was. Day after day, second after second, I allowed a little more room to breathe. Loosening the ropes tied around my frame, each end attached to another soul, pulling away from me, making it tighter, harder. Little did I know that I was holding the scissors in my hands. Snip. I could be free, but I feared freedom that we all speak of. How could being alone, unattached to the rest of the world, make me free? What about being lonely? What if I fall and I can't get back up again? But the ropes will fray within time, cut or not. Each one falls to the ground, draping around my flesh, one at a time, realizing that I was all I needed from the beginning. Cradled in the arms of time, space, and magical coincidences of Mother Earth. I tried, but I could not make the world happy, only me. And when we step into ourselves, respect our boundaries, commitments, show up no matter what to our promises, and love ourselves by holding the hand of that little child that exists within you, that is when you see. Fail, but do not give up on hope. I have grown into the woman who I am meant to be. But I cannot forget that we still have room to grow. Not to be better or greater, but simply wiser, gentle, and loving. Life is simple. I grew up with a heavy weight on my shoulders and a noisy mind. I'm grateful for every experience, every person, a moment that has come to pass and has shaped me into someone whom I love. I'm releasing, learning to float but still grounded to the fresh soil below my feet. We cannot forget that we are people of this planet. I am here. I am me, and I see myself in every face that I get the blessing to witness. Every smile and heartbreak, every failure, mistake, and success. I'm all of them. But I choose to be loved. Little girl, let it go. For this weight is not yours. Surrender. So I'm actually, so that was the piece, but I added just like a little point to that I've learned in my short life of 23 years, but long for some, and just some things. Maybe if you like pick at one thing and like have a little think about it. So what the first thing is to do things that are really uncomfortable for you. Uncomfortable usually means that you should do more of it and that you're on the right track. The second is to take tiny, tiny steps one at a time and just being patient with yourself. I think everyone's trying to run towards something, and it's okay to just do it really small but consistently. And then the third is not trying to be perfect. Fail as many times as you can, almost see it as a challenge, and pick yourself back up because you can. And then the fourth is linked to what I was just saying is with every little decision you make, just ask your inner child, is this right for you? Am I loving you? And the last one, which is a big one, is to rest. You remember to rest and just be gentle with yourself. I think we're all so hard on ourselves. So with that, I'm going to leave a little affirmation I found just before I came on here called surrender. So So just put your hand on your heart if you want to. If that's not comfortable, that's fine. So it is safe for me to let go of any sadness and pain. I nurture my beautiful self during this time. I am loved and I accept inner strength and peace fill my being. Okay, thank you. Thank you for running this. It's very beautiful.
Listening to my mother. Thank you, Layla. That was so lovely. I can't believe it. We've come to the end, and I've done all my guests, and it's been a really lovely evening. So thank you everyone that tuned in. I can see so many lovely comments. Thank you. It's so kind. I've had a really nice time, and I hope everyone else has as well. Of course, thank you so much, Enkama, for putting together this festival. It's been really nice, at least faking a bit of real human interaction. I think especially in times like this, it's been really nice, so thank you. Shout out Tiago, who's the founder of Enkama. Thank you so much, Tiago. And thank you to Theo Birch. He's done all the tech for this. I love you. Thank you. And obviously, thank you so much to my guests. If you want to show them love or follow them and support them, shortly after this, there's going to be a little screen and all of their @s and socials is on that. So make sure you follow them because they're all so amazing. So as I started with a little quote from my favourite book, I'm going to end with one. I'm so small, said the mole. Yes, said the boy. But you make a huge difference.